Hey guys, welcome back to the next training. In this training, we are going to look at the hands-on towards creating managed server as well as starting them up and attaching the machine to it. So let's go ahead and click on login edit. Oh wow, this session has expired. Been away for a long time. Logic 1, 2, 3. There you go. Go to environment servers and then login edit. Click on new. And this is going to be server 1, which is managed server 1 if you are out of, I'm out of like the server name. So I'm just going to get the server name from this architecture diagram. Here you have broad tele application M server 1. This is basically what the server which I'm going to have a name of it. And here the WLS host 1 as the host name of this one. And 8080 is the port number. So just, is this a standalone server or is this part of a new cluster? So let's just keep it as standalone as of now. In the next section, we will understand cluster and then we will create a cluster and add the server as part of the cluster. So don't worry about it. Don't be in a rush to create a cluster right now. So click on next and review the settings and click on finish. Now this server should have been completed, created, and it is currently in shutdown stage because it's not even active. Click on new server again and make sure this time you create second server, and in this server you give WLS host 1, that's the server name, and port number is for the second server we'll give 8090 as a port number. So let this be a standalone server as well. Then click on finish. So you have 2 servers created at this moment. So you need to activate the changes because the changes is not active, or you cannot actually control these servers until you activate the changes. Go ahead, activate changes, and then just hold on until this gets reflected. Now you can see that again it is blocked. It is you have to press lock and edit if you need it. That's the reason I did both the service creation rather than activating the changes, so that I can do it at one shot activate changes. Now that you have configured the server, so you can go to control, select the server and hit the start button. Now you're going to get some error over here. It says that the broad tele M server does not have a machine associated with it. All servers selected are currently in a state which is incompatible. The operations associated, make sure that the node manager is running. So it clearly tells you that you need to have a node manager attached to this, and you can see that it's in the state of shutdown. Select the server, lock and edit, select the node manager or the machine. Machine is created with the host name, so it's easy for you to take it from that. Another way of doing this is basically going to machine, an easier way actually. Going to machine, click on new, select the machine, and then go to servers under the machine and then click on add. Now here you can select manage server 1, select next, add manage server 2, next. Now you can see that I told you about admin server, right? So you can see that admin server is also coming as part of this list. So in which ways that you can also add machines to admin server, but there is no usefulness to it. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense to have machine to admin server. So let's not do that. So click on activate changes now that you added machines to your managed server. This is one of the easiest way, or else you have to go each server and then select the machine name from there. But that's also another option which you have. So that's also something which you can look forward for. As of now, it's a standalone because you don't have a cluster created. So that's why the standalone is the only option available right now. And then here you can enable SSL port number here. I'm going to keep it as 8443 and then hit the save button. And then go to server, go to manage server 2. And here you can select enable SSL and then make it 8444. So 8443 for that one and 444 for this one. So just save the button. Well, in terms of the other things which I promised to show you, one is less the advanced one. So now you can see that over here is the startup mode. So you can select administration mode here. Now, if you're going to select this administration mode, every time you start the JVM, it will actually go to the admin mode, or you can go to the standby section. So as I've shown you the architecture, when you select standby mode, it will go over here. It won't start the application itself or the dependency, so it will go to standby mode. If you go to if you select admin mode, then it will actually start all the application and it will wait for the administrative traffic, but it won't be actually listening for any port numbers or something like that until you resume the same. So this is by default option. So every time you start it, it's gonna do this action. So if the server is down and you want to start it, it will always go and end up in standby mode or admin mode, what you select. But if you have selected running mode, which is the default method, it's always going to end up in running mode. If there is any exceptions, some issues towards starting up, then it will either go to standby mode or admin mode. Admin mode is a likely one which it will go for any exceptions. That's the first thing I want to show you. The second thing I want to show you is it's over in the tuning in the advanced section. So there is this option of disabling managed server independence mode. By default, the managed server independence mode is enabled. If you want to disable, just go ahead and click on this. But I don't see any perks in terms of disabling the managed server independence mode. So well, I wouldn't recommend you doing that. Now that you have completed all these action items, don't worry about it. A lot of things we need to cover later point of time. We will cover slow one by one. And the key store which it is using is the demo key store, which is the default key store it's going to use. So if you're wondering like what it's going to do, use as a key store for your SSL, it's going to use the same thing like the admin server does. So activate changes again. So now that you have enabled SSL and you have seen both these options of the startup mode as well as like enabling or disabling managed server independence mode. So that's pretty much I wanted to cover you with you guys on this video. Now let's go over starting up this managed service. So select the managed service you want to start up with and then hit the start button. Now it is asking you, are you sure that you want to start it? And then you say yes. And then let's wait for the startup to happen. Now, when you start up the JVM, it kind of goes to your node agent. You can see that node agent log is updating over here. And you can see that node agent is creating prod tele ms02.out file. I told you like it's going to create a specific log that out file it's creating. Same thing it would have done for this thing as well. So you can see that there is something called startup properties, which actually has these managed service as part of it. So you will have that booter properties created as well as part of this one. So let's see if it's getting started. It's just going to the start state. You can click on this refresh button to have this refreshed. This refresh button will periodically refresh the state of this service. Now I'm expecting errors, or it would have already started up fine. So you can see that it's already in running state. So now the managed node manager confirms that both are in the running state. So what is this log I'm looking at? I'm looking at the node manager.log. As I'm using the admin console to start the managed service, it uses the node manager to start the managed service. So in which ways that I can use this node manager log to see the status of the servers. You can actually go and see the status of the servers in this server JVM log as well. So if you go over, if you are in the bin folder already, go to servers, and then you will have prod m server, that is managed server 1. And then now you can see that in the security folder, you don't have a boot.properties file. But how did it start? Well, when you started with the node manager, it will actually take the boot.properties from this folder. So you can see that boot.properties is shared. Now, where does this take the boot.properties? It basically takes the boot.properties from the node manager itself, because the node manager uses that. So you can see the startup properties, and you can see that pretty much your node manager related startup property over here, and the admin URL is also mentioned as part of it. So other than that, you have the other, states and other files which is used for your node manager. So you can see the running is a state. You can also see the PID of the process ID of your managed server JVM. Sorry. So when I do a ps-uf group of this port number, you can see the WebLogic name is prod tele m managed server 1. So that's pretty much your managed server details. So the node manager takes care of your startup. So that is the reason why I say use the node manager to start up, because node manager will take care of everything else, and the data location is where it's going to store all these things. Now, we will go further down the line and we will see in detail about all these things at a point of time. At that time, you will understand it much more closer on how things would actually work in terms of managed servers. So I think I have given one. Yeah, so here you see that we will come to this, don't worry about it. So here you have the bin folder, logs folder, security folder, temp folder, data folder, stage folder, right, for a managed server. So it's the same folders is there as well. You don't see the stage folder right now because you're not done any deployment. So when you do the deployment on the staging method, it's going to create the stage folder and have those deployment under it. Anyways, we will see this architecture as part of your deployment, so don't worry about it. But the data folder has all these data towards making your application work in terms of security, LDAP, and your node manager related details like boot properties. If I would have started this managed server from command line mode, well, you would have seen that the security boot properties is missing, so it would have failed. Obviously, I'll show you that in a moment. But before that, we will go ahead and stop one of the servers, see what happens. So I'm just selecting the server and I'm hitting the shutdown button. So this refresh, stop it so that it doesn't, refresh it. So you have two options here. You can shut down when the work completes or shut down for shutdown. Both are same for us because we don't have any service hosted on. So let's just go and force shutdown. Now, if we check the logs of this one, you can see that the node manager updating the server is no longer alive, waiting for the process to die. Server was shut down normally. So that kind of a message you got over here. I want to start up this JVM from the command line method. So I'm going back to bin folder in my domain home bin folder. And here I'm giving start managed server, start managed WebLogic.sh. And then I have to give the name of the JVM. So the name of the JVM which I'm planning to start. So here it is asking me for the boot username and password. Now, why it is asking me for username and password? Because boot.properties does not exist. Now, why it doesn't require? Because we used our node manager to start them up. That's the reason why you didn't ask for it. So just go click on start and just have that started again. Now there is another file in the server prod ms2, I guess, which we started just now. So let's just go and check this out file. Out file is more interactive. As I told you, you can see that it's quite interactive when you compare with the other file. So it is some exception coming in towards proxy. Illegal access warning, access denied, illegal access. I don't know what is that about. We're not sure if that is coming for that or just coming from my console. So let's see if it happens again. So here you can see it is quite interactive. So you have the date, you have what it is. It's a notice. From security, it is a BA stuff, right? So in the log file, you're gonna get a lot of information. And it's going to look heavy because it actually gives you the thread level information as well, like what the status of a thread, the number thread, a lot of information over here, extra information about your thread IDs and thread numbers and stuff like that. That kinds of overwhelms you from the log understanding standpoint. It's very good in terms of you're trying to analyze a problem, but then when you want to generally check a log, kinds of, it's too much information, I would say. So I would prefer the out file in terms of if I want to read the log quickly. If I would prefer log file in case I'm troubleshooting some issues as such, when an application is going through any kind of a performance issue or something like that, or some kind of an error I want to understand, I would go for the log file, and rather everything else I would go for the out file, all the time. So now that the JVM is running fine and it is assigned to the machine, and we have seen some properties in terms of command line, and we have also seen how to start the JVM from the command line interface as well, it's going to be very helpful for us to proceed further and create a cluster. And we will only put these two servers into the cluster. We will always have the option of including another server at a point of time, so don't worry about it. I will not miss that session for you, because I'm also eagerly waiting to show you about the other node which we're going to integrate with this admin server. It's very exciting, and I'll see you on the next video.